it's funny because my husband came to me maybe like a while ago and he's like, hey, I think we should do mobile home investing. I was listening to this podcast and this guy was telling me how much money he was making from investing in mobile homes. And I'm like, mobile homes? I'm looking at it sideways like, that's about to make us no money. All right, guys, this is Kelly from Hills, Deals, and Wills Mobile Home Investing Course available on Vimeo. And we have a very seasoned mobile home investor. Her name is Kay Davis. First of all, Kay, I'd like to apologize because I was telling everybody that you were a newbie to the game, but you have done several deals. I told everybody in my group you had only done one deal, but you've done several deals. How are you doing today? I am doing very well. I know you said I'm seasoned. I like to think that I am still a newbie, okay? But no,
Okay.
I'm doing very well.
Okay.
Thank you
And
for
so,
having me today.
oh, thank you so much for coming.
So when I first heard about mobile home investing, I heard of it through my father. My
Mm-hmm.
father, he is an entrepreneur at heart. Um, he did like Amazon businesses and he got into some real estate. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. So he did a fix and flip out there.
Okay.
And he learned a little, he learned a lot from that. And so he was telling me like I should get into real estate. But my husband and I, we always knew we wanted to get into real estate. We just didn't know how
Okay.
exactly. So my father told me about wholesaling. So I actually started looking up wholesaling single family homes. This was like 2, 3 years ago. Actually, probably longer than that. About 3 years ago, I started looking into wholesaling and doing my research. So I was YouTube University all day.
Okay.
Um, and then as far as mobile home investing, I want to say I've been looking this up for maybe like a year now, like about a year and a half.
Okay.
It's funny because my husband came to me maybe like a while ago and he's like, hey, I think we should do mobile home investing. I was listening to this podcast and this guy was telling me how much money he was making from investing in mobile homes. And I'm like, mobile homes? I'm looking at it sideways like, that's about to make us no money. And then after a while, I started hearing about it on YouTube, just coming across like different like entrepreneurial type investments. And I told my husband, like, I think this might be, I think you might be onto something. Like, let's get into it. And so we officially been doing mobile home investing since I want to say April
Okay. And
of
so
this year.
April of this year and it's September. So you only been doing it a
Mhm.
short time. So
Yeah.
what is your favorite strategy?
I would say at this point, it got to be wholesaling.
And why is that?
Wholesaling is my favorite because you don't. I feel like you just the middleman at the end of the day,
Okay.
and you don't have to spend any of your money. You don't
Okay.
have to do too much. It seems very simple. So this last deal I did was the wholesale deal, and it was very simple for me to do it. It seemed like it was a lot of different working pieces, but it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
As opposed to like when we did like buying and holding, it was a lot. It's a lot of work.
Okay. And so Kay, how did that whole scenario work? How did you find the wholesale deal?
So I do driving for dollars.
Okay.
That's my favorite way to find the deals.
Mm.
Our very first deal, we actually found it on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
So we do both. Facebook Marketplace and then driving for dollars is how I find the deals. The wholesale deal that I got, so my sister-in-law, she had her graduation in Lansing, Michigan. And so we went to her graduation and after it was over, because it's about an hour and a half away from where we live.
Mm.
So on our way back, I told my husband, I'm like, can we stop at a mobile home park? I'm like Googling mobile home parks. Like, it's about 5 of them in the area. Can we at least stop to one of them, like before we go home? He like, yep, pick the nearest one and we'll go and just, drive through. So we started driving for dollars, and it's in a decent mobile home park. Not bad, not great. It actually like probably a few newer homes, but most of them were older. Um, but we were driving through and I seen this home and the lady had her for sale sign out there. And it had her telephone number, how much she was asking. My husband actually got out, walked around the house, and the windows are open, so he was able to like peek inside and see like if it was a okay kind of deal. So he recorded and everything, came back in the car. I'm like, hurry up! I hope nobody looking at us. He gets back in the car and shows me the pictures, and I'm like, this is perfect. I'm gonna contact her right away because she was only asking 5,600 for it.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
And what year mobile home was that?
That was a 1989, I want to say.
Okay.
Yep, a
56.
1980. It was either 1987 or 1989. I think it was 1987. 1987 mobile home.
3 bedroom, 2 bath, or
It was a two bath,
two
and
bed,
two
2 bath?
full. Yep, two full baths.
Okay. And so, Kay, what did y'all do after that point? You liked the pictures, and then what did you do from
Oh
that point
yes.
forward?
So after that, I immediately contact the contact the owner.
Uh,
Um, I think I called her and she didn't answer, like most people do. Like when I do drive for dollars, if I see something, I'll call, but most of the time people don't answer the phone and they don't respond with a text message either. So I called her, she didn't answer. I shot her a text message.
mm,
And I just told her, hey, I seen your home I was driving through the area and seeing your home for sale. Do you have a minute to chat? And then from there, she said, yep, I'm about to be at the house. Did you want to meet me there? And at that point, I was already back home in Detroit. So I'm like, no, unfortunately, I'm not there anymore. I can't come see it right now. But if you had a moment to talk, then that would be great. And so
okay.
I contacted her. We talked about, we talked about the home. I asked her, I have like a list of all the questions that I asked.
Okay.
And so I just started asking her, like, what's the year of the home? um how many beds and baths, what's the like if the home was in like a good structure, or if there were any soft spots in the house, what was the roof like, just asking her all those basic questions.
Okay. And what about liens? Any liens on the home? Did you
so
ask
this
them?
one this one was a tricky one. No liens.
Mm,
um However, she did have a mortgage on the home. So like she just had to pay her mortgage off.
okay.
So it
All right.
made it a little bit sticky.
Okay.
um she was asking 5,600 for the home, and that's all she wanted because that's all she had to pay off.
Wow. So she wasn't going to make a dime off of it.
No. But I
Okay.
knew that she could make something off of the house because it
Because
was
if
a
she
two.
paid, because if she paid that day, it was 5,600, right? So
Mhm.
she
It actually
probably
was no, it actually was less than 5,600.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
slightly, just
Mhm.
slightly. I think it might have been 55 and some change, but she
Wow.
was rounding it to 56 so she can get it and pay it off. At the
Okay.
time that we closed on the house, she only owed 54 on it. But what I told her is, because I knew she could probably find a buyer easily, was I told her that I would give her 58, or I would find a buyer for 58. And then I went out there and marketed the home I began to market it at 9, and it didn't really show, like nobody really showed too much interest.
Mm.
And so I continued to drop the price until I got to a price that I was like, okay with, like, I'm not moving from this price. I got to make
Okay.
some money.
All right.
Um, but yeah, she was only asking for 56.
Okay. And you wind up selling it, wholesaling it for how much?
I ended up getting it for 7,000.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And so you had to deal with the bank on this one, or?
No, so I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm hoping that I did it the right way, but I don't really know.
Okay.
I was I don't have a mentor, but I did speak with a guy who's been wholesaling for a while. He actually has some YouTube videos and stuff, and he's really easy to contact. So I spoke with him in regard to the deal. And so a lot of people told me to do a notarized bill of sale.
Okay.
I didn't end up doing it. I did the bill of
Okay.
sale. So I actually have a subscription with Rocket Lawyer.
Right. That's a good
And
one.
so that's who I went through for the contract. And
Okay.
so I knew the contract was good to go. Um, but I contacted her mortgage company and they didn't, they couldn't tell me much about anything because
Right.
I don't have the rights to get her information.
Right.
But I did have her get like a payoff statement.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I knew exactly how much she owed on it. But that was pretty much it.
Okay.
I didn't do too much with the mortgage company.
Okay. And so the person buying the home gave you the entire dollar amount, and then you gave the seller the remaining?
Yes.
Okay.
hmm
And then what about talking to the park manager? Did you have any interaction with the park manager?
A lot of interaction with the park manager. Like I wanted them to know exactly what I was doing. And I know it's important to form relationships with park managers. So that's why I went that route. So as soon as I got done talking to the lady who was selling the house, I actually contacted the park to make sure like she didn't owe any like she wasn't late on her lot rent and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I also had to make sure that whoever was purchasing the house got approved for the park. I
Okay.
didn't want to skip that step either. So I was in contact with the park managers. This park in particular, their communication was just really bad. And
Why was that? Why was that?
it was really tough to get in contact with her. I don't know. So I've been, like I said, this one was our our fourth deal that we did.
Okay.
And I've never had a situation where I couldn't get in touch with the park manager.
Okay.
Like the leasing office is always open.
Uh-huh.
At this particular park, the leasing office, the first week when I got the deal under contract, um, the leasing office was closed for a whole week.
Right.
So I couldn't
Okay.
talk to the lady right away because she was out of town at a conference. When she got
Mm.
back from her conference, I tried to contact her again and what did she tell me that time? She was out for a conference. When she got back, she was sick.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was a lot of back and forth. And she would tell me like, go ahead and send me the people who want to purchase the home and I will send them over the application for the park.
Okay.
And it was just a lot of back and forth. The communication was just horrible.
Okay. But actually talking with the park manager, because I notice a lot of people new to the business, they have an issue with talking to the park manager. Did you have an issue talking to her, or you
No,
just couldn't hardly contact her?
I just couldn't contact her, but I didn't have an issue talking to her. She knew exactly what I was doing. I told her that I was helping the owner of the home sell her home,
Okay.
helping her market it on social media and stuff like that. And she
Mm.
was fine with it. They didn't
Okay.
mind.
Okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
on this particular deal, you got what, about 2 grand, or what was it?
1200.
$1,200, and that took how long to get that money?
Oh, less than a month.
Less than a month.
It
And
took, yeah, less than
you
a month.
barely,
It actually took a little less than a month, but I'm rounding it to a month. It took 30 days,
right,
just about 30 days.
right, right. And
hmm
probably the easiest money you ever made, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. For
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
And everybody, I was going to work telling people like, I'm going to Lansing to sell this house. They like, why are you going back and forth? I'm like, it's actually not that bad. Like,
Right,
it's easier than what people think. It's not a lot of legwork that go into wholesaling. It's not.
right, right, right. So okay, so you said your favorite strategy is to wholesale. So what other
Mhm.
strategies have you done? Do you own or finance any of your properties out?
So we did do okay, so we're about to switch it over to seller finance. The second home that we purchased, we actually were just renting it out,
Okay.
but we're about to switch over to seller finance
Okay. And what
because
would
we
be your reason?
realized,
Go ahead.
oh, we don't want to do all the extra work that comes with having a tenant. Like I think that like the water heater went out or something like that. And
Okay.
I'm just like, all right, we got to fix the water heater. We got to do this. We got to go back and fix the paint on something. Like, it's just too much.
Right.
And we both have full-time jobs. And so it's too time consuming to have to go back and like fix stuff. And,
Right.
I don't
Right.
like it. I
So
don't like
you don't like renters. You don't like
it.
renters.
No,
You just want
no.
to you sell or finance it out and just put it on autopilot, collect the payments and let it go.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the
Yep.
deal
So
that
the
yeah, go
plan
ahead.
is the plan is to switch over to that in like the next month or so.
Okay. So you don't
Hmm.
actually have a home you're doing that with now, or what do you?
Right now we're just renting the home. So
Uh,
our first deal, we purchased it for 5,000 and we probably had it for a month and a half and then we sold it for 6,500. Our
mm,
second deal, we got that one, I want to say, I think we got it for 7,000. And then that one we have the guys and his girlfriend, they're renting and we're
okay.
renting it at 1,100.
Okay. And so, okay, do you need a license to buy and sell mobile homes in the state of Michigan?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So, but not the wholesale, you don't need a license.
I don't think you do, no.
No, I don't think you do. But
I don't
okay,
think you do.
okay, are you familiar with the term loan originator? Do you know what that is? A mortgage
Mm-mm.
loan originator? Okay, so in other words, when you create your seller finance documents, you don't go through a loan originator. You and your husband are just creating these notes on Rocket Lawyer or whatever the name of it.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's another one called e-forms, and that's what we normally use as e-forms. So you're not
Okay.
using a loan originator. Okay, and so
Mm-mm.
Kate, where do you see yourself like 5 years down the road in this mobile home business? Because I'm gonna tell you what, Kate, I was kind of laughing at you, not laughing at you, but I'm like, Kate, you AKA correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't expect AKAs to be in this kind of line of work. You know it, and I know it too, right?
Yes, but listen, so there's actually, it's funny you say that. So there was
Uh-huh.
another lady who's actually a mobile home investor in
Okay.
Atlanta, Georgia,
Uh-huh.
and she is an AKA. I don't know her, but I seen her on social media, and I'm like, she is probably the bougiest AKA that I've ever seen.
No, look, Kay, don't put words in my mouth. I ain't trying to say y'all bougie, but you know what? Y'all ain't trying to get dirty. Y'all ain't trying to get dirty. So when I asked you for a picture and you had one with the hat on, I said, okay, what's going on here?
Yes, no, and the lady, she's probably the bougiest AKA I've ever met. But I mean, I've never met her, but
Hmm.
she invests in mobile homes down in Atlanta, Georgia, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. But
Wow, wow,
she's doing great. I think she actually just opened up like a little suburb or whatever for affordable housing.
wow, wow, wow,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So, Kay,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself 5 years from now in this mobile home business?
5 years from now. It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. 'Cause what I will say this, okay. I didn't buy a mobile home course. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I was all YouTube University.
Okay.
And it's tough when you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a community. And so I know like I started to there were two mobile home, I would say organizations, I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Uh-huh.
Groups that I was thinking about being a part of. And just my personal opinion, it just cost too much. And for me at the time, like it was just too much.
Uh-huh.
And so I know that when you do pay to be a part of these mobile home groups, you have a community behind you that you can turn to and say like, hey, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Like you have mentors you can reach out to.
Right.
We don't really have that right now. So
Okay.
it's just tough to say. Um, I know when my husband and I talk about it, like down the road, we would like to own a mobile home park. But then after doing these deals, I'm like, I don't know if that's what I want to do. Like, I probably should reevaluate if this is something that I want to continue to do. But I know you can make so much money in this field.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Kay, do you have any like words of wisdom for somebody looking at
Yes,
this interview? Go ahead.
yes, because you over here calling me you calling me seasoned. I'm not seasoned.
Well, you
Listen,
Kay, you are seasoned because I swear when I was introducing you, I said she only did one deal. That's what I said. So I think you are
listen.
very seasoned to have four deals under your belt in a couple of months. You've practically done a deal a month if you really think about it. If you really think about it,
Yeah,
that
we
ain't
have.
seasoned. That's pretty seasoned, and you ain't taking nobody's course. That's you got some seasoning on that, if
No,
you ask me.
I didn't take anybody's course. My piece of advice that I would give to any newbie, don't do too many deals too fast. Take
Okay,
time. So when we first started, I want to say we probably had our first three deals in the matter of like 2 months. And that was when we were first starting off.
okay,
And so there were a lot of we did not do it right the right way. There was a
okay.
lot of pieces that we missed. And I think that when you focus on your first deal and actually being able to learn from that first deal, then you can go off and do more deals and do them how fast you want to. But I feel like in order to learn, like you should learn from your first one. And we learned
Mhm.
from our first three in the first couple weeks. Like it was just too much. So I would
Right.
say don't try to take on too much too fast.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And so, Kay, you don't have a website or anything like that, or are you open to any joint ventures for somebody who might be close to Michigan where,
So we
if you're
are
in
open to joint venture. We actually our fifth deal that we are working with, we're trying to get approved by the park right now. But that deal we're actually joint venturing with someone out of Florida.
okay.
So we're doing that. But yeah, we're open to joint venturing and we do have we have Instagram and we have Facebook as well.
Okay.
Our Instagram is her realty INV. So her realty investments.
Okay. All right. And so that's how
Hmm.
they would go about contacting you. So you say
Yeah.
you're waiting for park approval. What exactly is the park looking for? Because I've noticed a lot of investors, they think, well, my credit score is crappy. I don't need a great credit score because I'm not living there. But that's not true.
They don't even really, they look at your credit score, but it's really only to see if you've had any evictions and stuff like that. So
Okay.
when it gets a little bit sticky is when you own other mobile homes or you have like a home that you live in, you own your home and they want to know why are you buying another home? What are you doing with this house?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you didn't tell them your motives of like I'm a investor, like if you didn't tell them that up front, then they kind of like look into your application a little bit more.
Okay. All right.
And they ask a
Okay.
lot of questions.
Okay. And so, Kay, when
Mhm.
you're doing these deals, especially when you're buying and holding, putting these people on notes, is there like some kind of criteria? The age of the home, do you consider that 3 bedroom, 2 bath? Do you want to
This
move the mobile home? You know.
Listen, there's a lot of advice that I could give people. My other piece of advice is do not buy a home that's 1970s ever at all. Just
Okay.
don't do
All
it.
right.
Stay away from them. They just have too much work that needs to be done to them, mainly like the roof. So in the 1970s homes, you get more of the flat roof where the water just sit there. And so a lot of them be having issues. I didn't know that ahead of time. And so
Okay.
that's another piece of my advice. But no, not going forward, the criteria is going to be 1980s or newer, something with a
Peak
steep
roof.
roof, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a peak roof, yep. And honestly, not too much. The homes that we have purchased, we didn't have to do very much to them. The first two definitely needed like roofing, like the roof just needed to be done. But other than that, like it was all just cosmetic work. No, nothing crazy. I don't buy, we haven't bought any mobile homes that was like holes in, like, crazy holes in the ground. And
Uh,
yeah, we haven't done none of that.
And so,
I
Kay, how
will.
much
I
did?
will. I actually will not look at that at all.
Okay, okay. So, Kay, tell me how much did the roof set you back?
It didn't set us back too much. The biggest issue was like when we would so our very first deal. We bought it for
Uh-huh.
5, we sold it for 65. And the person who purchased the home from us came back and was like, "You guys sold us some BS and well, I'm taking you to small claims court."
Uh-huh.
Because I guess so we had a lot of rain come in after we sold her the home.
Okay.
And so I guess after that the home was leaking. I don't know how true it is, but it has to be some of it got to be true if she is
Mm.
complaining about it to that extent. Um but she was really really upset about the leaks in the house and we were like, "Well, we walked through, we didn't see any leaks, we never lived in the home, like we didn't know what was going on." The lady who we purchased it from told us that everything was fine. Her mother had lived there for years and she was just moving her to be closer to her. So
Right.
we didn't see nothing wrong with the roof. We didn't see any leaks. There weren't any like spots in the ceiling that you could see, nothing like that.
Mm.
So
Well, they bought the home as is. What do they want from you? I don't get it.
I don't know for us to give her money back.
Good luck on that.
She's
Good luck
not getting
on that.
I mean, I don't think she's gonna try to pursue anything. I went driving for dollars in that same mobile home park the other day, and it looks like people were out there like working on it. So I think they just decided they're gonna, just put more money into it and live there.
Right, right.
Hmm.
So, hey, before I let you go, can you explain to us how you go about closing deals in Michigan? What paperwork is needed, like wholesaling? What paperwork do
Yes.
you do?
So you need a bill of sale, and you need to transfer the title. But in order to transfer the title, all you have to do is take it to the Secretary of State, and that's it.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
just the bill of sale and Secretary of State.
Okay. What about the taxes? Do you have to pay the taxes?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. So the mobile homes that we've been doing, we've been investing in mobile home parks.
Okay.
And so the taxes are included in their lot rent usually.
Okay. And so, the order to transfer the title, you don't need to pay any taxes to transfer it to the other person.
I think when we transferred our titles, I think we paid like a small fee, but it's nothing crazy. I think it might have been like 30 or $40 or something like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, unless you have anything to add, I greatly appreciate you coming on here. Do you have any final words for anybody trying to get into this business?
I do not. I do not. Like I
Okay.
said, don't do too many deals too fast.
Okay. All right.
And that's about
Well,
it.
all right. So there we have it, guys. We have Kay Davis. She is, in my opinion, a seasoned mobile home investor. So, Kay, tell them one more time how they go about reaching you, if you don't mind.
Yes, you can reach us on Instagram at her realty INV on Instagram. And that is also our email account. So her realty inv at gmail.com.